First of all, that unbelievers are lost. Unbelievers are lost. He says here to Jonah, asking, "Should I not pity Nineveh, that great city in which are more than 120,000 persons who cannot discern their right hand from their left?" What do you think about when you think about somebody that can't discern their right hand from their left? You think about somebody who's lost their way. Right? The righteous man is the one who does not depart to the right or to the left, but keeps the way of the Lord. These folks were lost. They didn't know which way to turn. They were wandering through life aimlessly, not knowing the right perspective on even the simplest things. They're compared here to children, not knowing their right from their left. God is saying, is it not right to be compassionate on the lost? Have you ever been lost? Really lost? To the point where you start panicking a little bit? You've lost your way at some point. You just don't know where you are. Maybe you're late for something. Maybe you just have no idea where you are. It's a dreadful feeling, isn't it? To be lost. To be lost. God is saying that's what your unbelieving neighbors experience every day. Not always so self-consciously as what we feel when we're lost on the road somewhere, but they're lost. They don't know their right from their left. Should we not have compassion on men and women who are lost? If you saw someone who was hiking in a trail, who had been hiking for days or weeks even, and finally stumbles across the path that you're walking, would you not show compassion to them? Would you not tell them the right way to go? Would you not take them with you? Is it not right to show compassion on the lost? God says that unbelievers are lost. He's focusing here on their present state. Even now, they're lost. You see, we so often focus only on the dreadful end of unbelief. And it is dreadful, as we'll see in just a moment. But it's a dreadful present. They're lost. Can't tell their right hand from their left. But secondly, God says that unbelievers are condemned. Unbelievers are condemned. Here he seems to be speaking about the future state of unbelievers. God said previously that 40 days hence and Nineveh will be destroyed. And now God is saying to Jonah, is it not right to be compassionate on those who are about to be destroyed? Isn't that right to do? Jonah forgot, or apparently suppressed, what it means to be destroyed by God. That word to be destroyed in the Old Testament refers to be placed under the ban of God, in which His hand is so entirely against you as to destroy you. God said, isn't it right to be compassionate on such people? Just like Jonah, Christians sometimes forget what it means for an unbeliever to perish in their sins. We sometimes apparently forget what it means for an unbeliever to perish in their sins. And maybe this helps to explain the apathy of certain Christians toward the lost. That we must just forget what it means to be destroyed by God. Do we realize that unbelievers have a never-dying soul, which will be reunited to never-dying bodies at the resurrection of Jesus Christ? And do we not understand what their eternal future holds if they're not overcome by the power of the gospel? In other words, have we forgotten about hell? We must have. To be filled with such apathy for the lost, we must have forgotten about hell. Hell is a place, let me remind you, devoid of joy, but filled with weeping and gnashing of teeth. Hell is a country in which no citizen ever experiences any good thing. If you've ever felt a sense of utter despair, and probably most of us could recount some point in our life when we just gave up all hope, when we were despairing of everything. If you remember what that was like, then you are close to understanding what hell is like. It is a place of total and utter despair. If you've ever been consumed with anger, to the point where anger just grips you and drives you to fury, then you understand something of what hell is like. If you've ever been betrayed by a friend, if you've ever felt alone, if you've ever felt a lack of purpose and of belonging and of community, then you understand something of what hell is like. You know what Jonah would essentially say to those thoughts? Well, that's their problem. Isn't that really what Jonah is demonstrating here? That's their problem. Have you ever thought that? Have you ever said that? Have you ever practically demonstrated that by a lack of interest in the lost? That's their problem? God is essentially saying here, no, it's your problem. It's your problem. Should you not be concerned about those who are approaching hell? It seems that these things didn't move Jonah. Now, we don't know how the story ends in terms of Jonah's maturity as he perhaps grew and mature, but we have no indication that these thoughts moved Jonah. Do they move you? Again, this last question really comes to us because it's a lingering question. Jonah doesn't answer the question, but you have an opportunity to answer these questions. Does it move you that unbelievers are lost and they are condemned, awaiting a horrible judgment? I don't say this to burden the consciences of those who are already concerned and active for the lost. But I say this to shake up those who apparently have a seared conscience towards the lost, as Jonah did, that it must be somebody else's problem but not his.